right, family, it's your brother Asad.
I'm Adrian.
And we are back again with another quick video. So make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so that you'll hit the get the notifications bell so that you'll be notified, or hit the notifications bell so that you'll be notified when we drop new material on this channel. It's important for you to share and make sure when you hit the notifications bell, you hit all. Because sometimes we had a conversation today and the sister told us, hey, I'm subscribed to your channel, but I don't get all the notifications. So I went and looked on the phone, on the computer, as my mama would say. I looked on the computer, and it said you gotta hit the all button. So make sure you hit the all button. Secondly, in terms of housekeeping, I gotta give a special and a significant and a particular and a peculiar shout out to my South African family for all the love you guys have shown this channel, my wife, myself, my children. We greatly appreciate it. Third, in terms of housekeeping, bam, 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 just like that. Here's the deal on the meetup. Here's the deal on the meetup. I've been busy. I've been busy. And I just haven't had the opportunity to go look at restaurants. I still need some suggestions, but I haven't had the opportunity to go and look at the restaurants that people have suggested, right? So what we're going to do, I said before that there would be no meetup in March. I lied. I misspoke.
That's no longer real.
That's no longer the truth. We'll do it the second weekend of March, right? Because Ramadan doesn't start to March like 22nd, 21st. It's unsure. You know, the dates change. So we'll do it then. So we'll do it the second week of March. And then in April, maybe we won't, or maybe we won't have, maybe not. We'll figure out how we work it out. So the second weekend of March, we'll get that squared away and we'll have a meetup. At some point this week, I will have something. I promise. Right? I promise. Yeah, I mean, just been busy. One Way SA. Shout out to One Way SA. One Way SA been keeping me doing consultations. And there's really a lot of people asking about property purchases. Yeah, right? Some visas or whatever have you, but we've been doing consultations about property purchases, as well as the stuff going on at VITS, as well as the USA job, as well as children, and all kind of stuff going on at the house, all kind of stuff. So I apologize. I've been busy. I've been busy. Yes, Lord. You know, and shout out to One Way SA. So also I want to say this. We also have apartments, low-income apartments in Malvern. I didn't say Melville. I say that Malvern. Therefore, about 1,800 Rand per month to about 2,500 or 2,500 Rand per month. So if you know someone that's, I know all of y'all live in Santon, all of y'all live in Stain City and Dane Fern. I know y'all, yeah, but if you know somebody.
Right.
If you know somebody.
Distantly.
Right. You know, you happen to run into them, you know, your partner. But if you know somebody, send me an email at asadelmalik.com, Lord, asadelmalik@gmail.com, and I will forward that information to the property manager so that they can contact you and y'all can work that out. Yeah. Big old facts. Bam, 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 just like that. So, also, I know we need to get to the topic, but also I had this idea, fellas, South African brothers and sisters, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Brothers and sisters?
Well, no, brothers. I'm sorry, no sisters. Brothers. Brothers, I'm talking to you. So, I got a partner in New Orleans, and every year for about a decade now, we would meet on Martin Luther King Day, and it'd be like 20 of us, 30 of us, 40 of us, and everybody dressed fly. I'm talking about clean hats and glasses, fresh, funky fresh, right? And, you know, beards all lined up, haircuts, every man, so there's a whole bunch of brothers. Everybody looking good, everybody looking clean, everybody in their Sunday go to meeting clothes, right? Sunday go to meeting clothes. That's that old, you gotta be an ex-slave to talk like that. Look, Sunday go to meeting clothes, everybody fresh. And the photographer comes out and they take pictures like, so imagine 50 brothers from SA. We all get dressed up with our nice clothes, go buy a nice outfit. You know, nice shoes and everything. Maybe some people in their traditional cultural formal attire, right? And then we go out bam, meet in Rosebank somewhere. Meet in the Rosebank Mall, and we walk around, people taking pictures. You know, people be stopping and looking, like, who is that? They rappers? Right? Are they singers? And just taking pictures, bam, bam, bam. And then, you know, before you know it, once the pictures are taken, everybody, you know, take a little collection, pay the photographer, we get the pictures, and it's all over social media. It's about image correction and controlling an image, right? And creating a new narrative, right? Around, you know, black masculinity and black manhood and black style.
Yeah,
you
get
know,
some cool photos.
Hey, you get some cool photos, right? You know, and then it's all over social media. People be talking about it. Man, y'all seen this? You seen this, brother? You know, you never know, brother. Sister might see. I need to tag him. Tag him. So what y'all think about it? If y'all think that's a cool idea, I'll put that together for after Ramadan. For after Ramadan. Yeah, we could do something like that. So let me know what y'all think. So today, we want to talk about African American critiques of South Africa. African American critiques. So we've had some conversations recently.
Yeah.
Really, it's two people. It was two people. And maybe this is personal.
It wasn't a whole lot.
It wasn't a whole lot. It was two separate people. But since they said it, I'm going to bring it up, you know. So they had some very stern critiques of Johannesburg in particular. Well, South Africa, but really Johannesburg in particular. Now, I'm going to tell this story. I'm going to tell it quick. In 2005, a hurricane came through my city. Big old storm. 80% of the city was underwater, right? Now, after that, you had a whole influx of people. Like, so you had the real New Orleanians, the black folks that returned. Some of them returned. But then you had these new people coming in from these different places. And when they first got there, you know what they were saying? Oh, I just love the culture here. It is great. Oh my God, the food is great. You have second line street parades and everybody is just, oh man, I love New Orleans.
People of all races.
Of all races.
People of all races.
Right. I call them non-New Orleanians, right? These non-New Orleanians, they were from New Hampshire and Minnesota and Kansas and places that
Atlanta.
Oh my God. All these people came to New Orleans in an effort to help us rebuild, right? And when the first year they were there, oh man, they couldn't stop talking about it. I love this place. Oh my God, it's great. But once they had to deal with the day-to-day, and the Negroes started shooting them AK-47s, yeah. The ideas of the city changed. All of a sudden, y'all shouldn't have no second lines every Sunday. Why? We've been doing it for 300 years. You think we gonna stop because you don't like it? All of a sudden they was mad because so ballrooms in New Orleans typically, like, you can find a ballroom that will stay open to 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Some of the ballrooms are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? So they were moving to a neighborhood with a ballroom and then getting mad because the ballroom is ballrooming, if that makes sense. Doing what ballrooms do. Having people, loud music, people outside drinking or whatever have you. And all of a sudden it's a problem. So the response from those of us who are autochthonous, those of us who are native, the response was, if you don't like it, go back to New Hampshire. Go back to Kansas. Go back to wherever you came from. Because we've been doing this for a couple of centuries and we don't plan on changing. And the truth is, in 2017, people started leaving. They were like, okay.
They were like, oh, they really.
Oh yeah, we're not about to change. This is what it is. What it is. It's far too entrenched, right? So when I hear critiques, so these two people brought these critiques of Johannesburg to us, and wanted to, I guess, thought we were like a safe space to share this information. And I respect that. I honestly do. But I have a divergent opinion. My opinion is I accept Johannesburg and I accept South Africa for what it is. Number one, I'm not coming over here with that savior mentality. We have to go over there and help the South Africans. No. If we could do all that helping, why we ain't help ourselves over there? about that? If we got all that strength and power, why we ain't go over there helping ourselves? We're being tortured over there, right? So I'm not coming with that savior mentality. I'm coming to build with people who want to build with me. I'm coming to deal with people who want to deal with me. So my opinion was like, well, if you don't like it that much, if your critique of the place, and what was the critique? One of the critiques was it's too much like America.
Yeah. Like they had been to other African countries, felt like, oh, I just really knew I was there. I knew I was in Africa. I would just had immediate access to the culture and the foods and all that.
Go there.
Right.
How about that?
My next question was like, well, have you thought of
why you ain't
relocating
done
to
it?
one of those countries?
It seemed like you really enjoyed yourself.
Right.
It seemed like you found your
Loved
place.
it.
Go there.
Why'd you come here? If you don't love it.
Right.
Much.
And the thing about it, what we must understand is that Johannesburg and South Africa are industrialized, or Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, are industrialized municipalities.
Mm-hmm.
And infrastructure affects culture. Period. Infrastructure affects and impacts culture.
Indeed.
The way, and culture is simply the way people interact with each other and the traditions that come out of those interactions.
Mm-hmm.
Interactions change when you have highways. Interactions change when you have high-speed internet. Interactions change with tech. Interactions change when you no longer go to the market to buy something from, to buy fruit from the lady who just picked it out of her backyard or picked it out of her own garden. Instead, you go to Pick and Pay.
Grocery store.
Right, you go to Pick and Pay. You go to the grocery store. You go to Woolworths. Interactions change. That affects culture, right? When you buying it from the lady at the little market downtown, you know her. You can talk to her. You might know her family or whatever have you. And if you ain't got no money right then and there, she may be like, bring it tomorrow. Yeah. Pick and Pay ain't gonna let you bring it tomorrow. Mm-mm. Pick and Pay be like, oh, I don't know what to tell you. Right? Come back tomorrow. It'll be here. You see what I'm saying? That affects culture. So now that is the West. When you're in the United States, that's the way it operates. It's because of the infrastructure. Secondly, as you pointed out, you have a multicultural society here.
Very multicultural.
You got Africans, and then you have different cultural groups within that African category.
That category alone is multicultural.
It's buku. It's buku of them.
Multi.
Right.
It's not just Africans from South Africa.
There you go.
Africans from all over this continent.
All over the continent that are here.
Represented.
So now you got the Arabs and them. You got the Turks. You got a whole Turkish mosque there. It is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. A beautiful edifice to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you got the Turks, you got the Indians, you got the Chinese, you got the British, you got them what the other
Jewish people?
The Jews? What the people? The other ones though?
What the people? What people?
The Afrikaans. You got them. All that's here. So now this society has to function. So how is it going to function with all of these different multicultural pieces? You got to find an intersection and operate in the intersection. That's what good people with good sense do. This not rocket science. No, this not rocket science. So in order for the society to work, there's going to be a level. Everything can't be Zulu.
Right. Everything can't reflect one culture.
It just ain't gonna happen like that. Right? So, along with the infrastructure and the it's much like America, because America got the infrastructure, and America has the multiculturalism, right? So then you have to find a happy medium between all of this, and this is what you get. It's been replicated all over the world.
Right. You got that one language of business and exchange.
Right. Hold up, I hear a plane coming. Let's pause. All right, there was a plane passing. I don't know. Yeah.
A little loud.
So.
Right.
So this has been replicated all over the world. Wherever there's modernity, wherever the infrastructure represents modernity, you are going to find a very similar culture. You can go to Paris, France, where they speaking French. Yeah, where they speaking French. And what I used to say about Paris, I used to say Paris is New York in French. That's all it is. It's New York, and Johannesburg is Atlanta and Zulu. That's all it is. It's because of the infrastructure, right? So if you come in a place, it's too American. Well, there's a lot of places you can go.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places you can go. And that was my response. Like, if you are unhappy with the place, I'm coming, accepting it for what it is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It is what it is. You don't like load shedding? Me neither. But I think the majority of South Africans agree with that.
Right.
But, like, coming and say that you can't, I think one of the other critiques was I don't feel like I can get integrated into the culture. They're not welcoming me, I guess, into like, not South African culture, not the Rainbow Nation culture, but like individual ethnic, like the Zulu culture or the Xhosa culture or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, it's gonna be hard to integrate into that unless you like get married, get a good friend from the culture who's gonna start bringing you to different events, to weddings, to funerals, or whatever have you. But
it's harder when you choose to live behind the walls among the wealthy.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of them may also be foreigners.
There you go.
Live in that neighborhood.
There you go. So, and I also think it's about being a genuine person. I'm not saying that these people are not genuine, but I haven't had any problem. We start off every video saying what? I want to give a special and a significant shout out to my South African family for all the what? The love. Because that's what I received. Mm-hmm. On my way coming to my house today, I was in the car, me and Adrian, and dude just honking his horn, I was like, man, where my gun? But anyway. But he was honking his horn, and he rolled down his window. He was like, Dr. Assad and Adrian, I watch you all the time. I get love.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying there's some people that don't like me. I'm sure there's some people who watch this channel but like, I can't stand Dr. Assad. Well, that's your opinion. You got that. Yeah. You can have it. Mm-hmm. If everybody likes you, you're doing something wrong.
I think there was another critique where someone was saying that they feel like people don't accept them as brothers and sisters.
That's what he said. That he did. He said, do they really accept us as true brothers and sisters? Negro.
For real?
You really that retarded, Negro? How short was the bus that you was on?
I'm saying. Did you expect us when you traveled to Houston, Texas?
Thank you.
Did you walk up to the person? Did they say, welcome, brother and sister?
We don't even accept it. You don't even get accepted going from state to state. From a different part of your city to the other part of your city.
Right.
Yeah. Do the people in like West Side Chicago look at the people in the other part of Chicago that they at war with? That they killing it 2,000-3,000 bodies? Yeah, do they look at each other like their brothers? Do they be like, hey, you my brother? Well, I don't want no brother like that. I don't want no brother that's gonna hit me with no AK-47. I don't need them type of brothers. So it's amazing that these expectations, it's
unrealistic.
It's part of the romanticization.
Yeah.
Romanticization. Right?
Idealism.
There you go. Let's go to the easy word. Romanticizing. It's a part of romanticizing Africa in the minds of many African Americans who are attracted to the continent. It's beautiful that you have that attraction. It is beautiful that you have that yearning to reconnect to your ancestral homeland, right? But the idea that you're supposed to come over here and everything is supposed to be kumbaya, whatever they said, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's supposed to be holding hands and swinging. That's just not real. That's a foolish expectation. In the words of the great philosophical musician, too short.
Not too short.
Too short. Get in where you fit in, fool. In the words of the great philosophical musician, too short.
Blow the whistle.
You gotta get in where you fit in, fool. That's what he said.
Get in where you fit in.
Fool. That's what he said. Get in where you fit in, fool. Everybody ain't about to be your brother and your sister, right? You got to develop your own tribe. And then that leads us to our final point before we close out this sermon. We are immigrants. And I know my brothers and sisters, when I said that before, my South African family always showed love. They said, no, you're home, brother. This is your place. And I understand that. And I appreciate that love.
Yeah.
The reality is, though, that we've been going away from home for 400 years. For 400 years. And while in our sojourn, in our absence, we did create a culture. Because I've heard some African folk, some continental African folks say, oh, black Americans ain't got no culture. Well, that's dumb. Would you think culture stopped based on location?
All human beings have a culture.
All human beings have a culture. Right? And we created a culture. We have traditions that we have. We have certain food, certain music, certain clothing, styles of dress, ways of talking that we created in our sojourn in the United States of America. Right? And it's every other culture that goes to the U.S. Here's the thing about it. The United States is a multicultural society, even though it's a predominant European culture. Right? But when the Asian, Chinese people come over, there's a Chinatown in every major city. They build a Chinatown like that. That don't mean they're not integrated into society, but they go and they build them a Chinatown.
In New Orleans, they got a whole Vietnamese area.
And when you get to that Vietnamese area, if you don't speak Vietnamese, poo-poo on you.
You don't know what's going on.
You don't know what's going on.
Like,
this is a big old black city. This is a black city with killers and thugs and all kind of African culture traditions. And in one part of our city is totally Vietnamese.
Totally.
Everything is in Vietnamese.
Transport you to another world.
Everything, the church, they got a Catholic church out there.
All the restaurants.
Everything.
All the business.
And the signs are in Vietnamese. So they're not saying, hey, we want you to be bilingual.
You're our brother and sister.
They went over there and created them a community for themselves.
Yes.
But they're still integrated. They go to the same schools, right?
They work in the hood.
Work in the hood. They work in the communities or whatever have you. But they got places because there's certain Vietnamese food that they want to have. It's certain things from Vietnam, food items, practices, traditions that they want to preserve, right? So they create a community. The Arabs, all over the United States, wherever you find one Arab, you're going to find 20,000 of them. Right? They're going to build a masjid.
Ethiopians, Eritreans, Somalians.
The Somalians, oh yeah.
In Minnesota.
Listen, the Ethiopians and the Habesha, our brothers and sisters from the Horn of Africa, when they come to the United States, they all look alike, number one. They all do. They all look like Adrian.
They have some similar phenotypes.
Yeah, they look alike. And guess what?
You're from Somalia, huh?
My best friend, so let me start playing. My best friend is from Eritrea. I was the best man in his wedding. So I'm saying this because I've been intimately involved with these people, right? He has a brother, he has a blood brother. His brother wasn't his best man. I was the best man, right? Here's what I'm saying. He's so integrated into black culture, he talked he was there since he was like 2 or 3 years old, right? So you hear him talk, he talks like a black person. He talks like a black American, right? And I'm not talking about accent. I'm talking about the nuances of black language, right? The nuances of African American vernacular, right? He has all of that. But guess what? His wedding was an Eritrean wedding, right? He had like 2,000 people at his wedding, and they had Eritrean and Ethiopian food. They had they were doing the little shoulder dance like this. I don't know if y'all know the little shoulder dance. It looked like the Bankhead Bounce, y'all. Right? He integrated. He went to a HBCU, a historically black college and university. He went to HBCU. He black American as black American could be in many ways, but they hold on to a particular piece of their culture.
Okay,
as I was talking,
we need to make that bridge.
Huh?
We need to make the bridge to the point.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got caught up. I was talking about the Arabs. So when people who are immigrants go, they find those who it is a terminology for it. It is called cultural buffering. Buffering. Why? Because some things in the culture may be shocking to you. So you find a cultural group that is very similar to yours that buffers you from some of the shocking features of a new culture. So Hispanics, when they come to, they can be from Guatemala, they can be from Mexico, they can be from Colombia, Honduras. Guess what? They all live in the same neighborhood. Because even though they're from vastly different cultures, their cultural similarities are more than the culture that they're integrating into, that they're attempting to integrate into, right? So when these people are like, so this is the point.
We're coming to it.
I'm coming to it. I'm lecturing right now. You got to pay attention. Take notes. All right. Write this down. So when they come, so they say, I come over here and I'm trying to avoid Americans.
Yeah, you get a lot of Americans that say that.
Like, why?
White, black, whatever.
That's true. It was
Americans. No, I was trying to avoid. One lady said she didn't talk to Americans
for years.
For some time, like years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why? Does any other group operate like this?
No.
Why?
I promise you, when South Africans find South Africans in the United States, they about to click up.
Right.
They about to hang tight.
They have things in common.
Right. They go eat some shakalaka.
Right.
Yeah.
They might join up around their sports teams or the sports that they love.
Exactly. Cheer on the soccer teams and all of that good stuff. That don't mean they don't have a problem with. That don't mean they have a problem with Black Americans or with Americans in general.
Or they don't want to. They don't want to assimilate because they found each other and all that foolishness.
No, that's simple. Don't be simple.
Oh, ridiculous.
So you come over to South Africa. So here's the thing about it. Here, let me tell you what's sad to me. When the Arabs come over to the United States, within a week, they're going to be somewhere, open up a restaurant selling the little bread and some hummus and some kebabs, all of that type of stuff. When the Asians come over, right, and then the Arab community is going to support that little restaurant.
Yeah, they are.
Right? And the Asians come over, the Asian community, they're going to open up a little restaurant selling a chow mein, lao mein, or whatever, the lo mein, and all that type of stuff. And they're going to support that little restaurant. And then eventually, everybody else starts supporting the restaurant. Oh, I want some authentic Chinese food. Oh, I want some authentic, Greek food or whatever have you. Right? Here we have Johannesburg, as big as it is, millions and millions of people. And we ain't opened up one, and I ain't no cook though. So don't say, why you ain't do it, brother Side, because I ain't a cook.
Because no one wants to eat.
Nobody wants to eat my food. But I do some good stewed chicken and stuff like that. But not one African-American owned soul food restaurant. You see, when you saying you gonna avoid your own, you can't open that because who's gonna support it? Because you've been avoiding your own people.
Right.
Yeah, you've been avoiding them African-Americans, you know? Now, granted, our South African brothers may be like, brothers and sisters may be like, oh man, I want to come and try some soul food.
Yeah.
Right? But your initial support's gonna come from people who here missing home. Like, dang, I sure wish I can get some, some smothered chicken. I sure wish I can get some of them, like grandmama used to make them sweet potato pies. Mm-hmm. Right? So, and furthermore, the cultural buffering, let's get back to that. Cultural buffering also affords you the opportunity when there is an emotional feeling of missing your home, then you can talk to somebody who is from home.
Yeah.
All right? From we can say home. We got two homes, right? The continent and then the United States, right? That's what makes us African Americans. So you can talk.
Feel lonely.
Right. When sometimes you want to say, man, it's Christmas. I don't know what South Africans eat for Christmas, what a traditional Christmas meal may look like here. But I do know what the traditional Christmas meal looks like in just about 95% of Black households, right, in the United States, African American households. So maybe during Christmas, that's what cultural buffering is about. Man, I want to go and I want to taste some food, right, that reminds me of the food that I ate for the last 30 or 40 years of my life.
This reminds me of when I went to Tanzania, and I told you I was there working with the government and CDC on this project, and there was an American girl who picked me up and took me to work the first day, but reminded me after she dropped me off, like, you need to find your own transportation because I can't get you back and forth every day. So she was letting me know, like, don't call on me. Meanwhile, 2 days later, a girl, shout out to Lotus, Indian girl, but she was Tanzanian. I met her. This girl took me to work, picked me up every day. She was going that direction. Yeah. She took me under her wing, introduced me to all of her friends. I was never alone.
Tanya. Shout out to Auntie Tanya.
But it wasn't an American that took care of me. And I'm just like, why are we like this?
Crazy mentality.
Why don't we take care of each other? We gotta change that, y'all.
That's true.
We have to change that.
That's true. And lastly, as it relates to critiques of Johannesburg, stop coming over here thinking that you about to save and change South. Like, I hate when people are like, yeah, because we couldn't go, we're gonna go over there and help them. If we could do all that helping like that, why we ain't help ourselves in a place we've been for 400 years? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. We are the most least educated, the poorest, the most incarcerated. Make it make sense. Why we ain't helping ourselves over there like that? Right? Stop coming over here with that old savior mentality.
Or stop using that language to cover up the true motive.
Which is you trying to come over here and make some money.
Yourself.
Yeah, you trying to come help yourself.
It's okay to say. Just say it. Keep it real.
Right. So, and furthermore, it is insulting. It is insulting to the people of South Africa, right? Or to the people of the continent in general to think that you are coming over here to save them. Save them from what? And from who? The same people that you can't defeat in the United States? It's insulting because you are assuming that they don't have the intellectual capacity, the will, or the know-how to save themselves, to do for self. And I would like to remind you that whereas we are still fighting for rights, whereas Black Americans are still getting killed in the United States, South Africa, Black South Africans took over a nation. So who need to get help removed? I might need to be taking notes. Huh? I might need to be taking notes because they took over a nation without bloodshed. Here's and here's the thing, and we're gonna let y'all go. Black South Africans and South Africans in general, please stop with all the old critiques of your country and stuff. Listen, democracy is less than 30 years old. And when we talking about Black South Africans in particular and Black Americans, when we look at it, listen, the first generation of Black Americans to truly be free, meaning free with equal rights under the law that was written in law, 1964 Civil Rights Act or the 63 Voting Rights Act. These people 65 years old.
That's younger than my parents.
That's what I'm saying. The first generation born where they had full legal rights, they 65 years old. That's it. So both of us are on a path to progression. You understand what I'm saying? South Africa, your democracy is young. Just stop trying to compare it to a 200-year-old democracy that ain't got it right yet. That ain't got it right yet. Stop watching TV and thinking that America is great. That everything is perfect over there. You've been lied to and we keep telling y'all that.
Watch NBC Nightly News.
Thank
what
you.
I do. You can see it on YouTube.
Thank you. And that's why, so some people are like, Doc, why are you posting about the violence in New Orleans? Because I'm from New Orleans, number one, and I'm telling you it's a violent place. But New Orleans ain't the only violent place. Go to Chicago, Baltimore, St. Louis, Gary, Indiana, Compton, California. All them places doing the same thing they're doing in New Orleans. And y'all be like, oh my, yeah, it's real. Oh man, Atlanta, they shooting in the malls. Yeah. So I'm posting that to try to break you out of that trance that you have with America. You know, because every time I talk to a South African that doesn't know me, why did you come here? Why would you want to be here? Why did you leave the U.S.? And I'm telling you, man, you must be crazy. If you ain't been there and I done been in the boat and I'm here, that should tell you something. Anyway, family, I think that's long enough, man.
All right.
So, bottom line is, if you have critiques of South Africa, how about offer solutions? And cultural traditions, you either accept or you don't accept. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. People don't have to invite you into their cultural traditions, right? And as African Americans here, you get with African Americans and you continue your own cultural traditions, right? And that doesn't mean you don't want to be integrated into society or integrated with your other Black South Africans or whatever have you. Definitely want that. We appreciate all the love, but just like every other cultural group, there's traditions that you want to hold dear to your heart, like Black History Month, right? Like Black History Month. All right, family. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.